morning, everyone. Welcome to Pinky Mom's Cakes, Cookies, and Candy. I'm Linda, and today I'm going to be making fresh strawberry pie with some homemade whipped cream and pie crust. And I'm kind of doing this backward because I went ahead and made a pie yesterday, so all I have to do is put the whipped cream on it, make the whipped cream, and put it on there. Our neighbor loves strawberry pies, and so I told him back at the beginning of the summer when I made Mike one, I'd make him one too. And he's always doing something or asking if we need help or something. So I went ahead and made one early, and also I can show y'all the finished product on here without having to come back. So I've been kind of busy this morning, multitasking, getting stuff ready for to eat later on today. And you know, I told Mary, I said, you would think as much work as I done in this kitchen yesterday in prep work that I wouldn't have anything to do this morning, but it seems like every time I think I had everything done, I'd think of something else. So y'all come on in the kitchen with me and let's see if we can make a strawberry pie. I got my burner on the boiler, and I'm going to try to get this where y'all can see it. Now this is the I'm making the gel to go in the pie now. So I'm going to do about a little over a cup and a half, and I'm using, it's not ice cold, but it's not room temperature. It's a little colder than room temperature, and I'm going to do just a tiny bit over a cup and a half of water. It's going to sizzle. I wanted that boiler hot because it takes a while for it to start cooking. And y'all may not see me, but hopefully you can hear me. I'm going to put in 3 tablespoons of cornstarch and 3 tablespoons of sugar. These are not exactly level. That might be just a tiny bit more than 3 tablespoons, but pretty close to that. And I've got to get that mixed up. And the same amount of sugar, 3 tablespoons of sugar. Now you can add this later, but I'm just going ahead and putting it in while I'm cooking it because I want the sugar to be dissolved good. The recipe actually said to add it with the Jell-O, but I'm adding it with this because this is the way I did it yesterday. So this is how I'm going to do it today. You want to start whisking this together and get it all nice and smooth. So that was about a cup and a half plus maybe about a tablespoon of water, 3 tablespoons of big tablespoons of cornstarch, and 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar. Now it's going to take a minute for this to start cooking. I didn't pick these strawberries. They didn't have strawberries at Panola this year. But they are good strawberries. I got them at Kroger, and they're Driscoll strawberries, and I like Driscoll strawberries. So we've already had a pretty big rain shower this morning. It got pitch dark here a few minutes ago, literally dark. I mean, like him needing a light on to see outside. It was so dark. And the wind started blowing, and it come a real heavy rain, and they're saying severe thunderstorms today. So I guess we'll see what happens. Hope everyone stays safe. Always check the radar, and it looked like it was a pretty good line of heavy thunderstorms moving through. And y'all probably wonder why I'm always talking about the weather. You know, growing up in Nacogdoches, we were right in tornado path, and we always had a storm house in almost everywhere we lived, except a couple little rental houses that Daddy rented to while he fished for a few months each time, and we had access, or was close to one at that time, where we could go get in one. But it was. We grew up with storms, and you know, and I have a high respect for thunderstorms and lightning. And Pinky Mom she was hard of hearing. Y'all heard us tell that before, but she was even in a house that blew away and left her and her kids on the foundation. And she was never scared of bad weather. I didn't understand it, but she was not. But my Pinky Paw, he was scared to death of bad weather. And I can tell you, I have fingernails now, but I never had them growing up because I chewed my fingernails like crazy. Because anytime I saw a cloud in the sky, I started getting scared. Mama, is it going to storm? Is it going to storm? I'd go ask Pinky Paw, is it going to storm? Because he was a weatherman. He knew when the humidity and the way the wind was blowing or not blowing. He knew if it was going to be stormy that day or not. And you can tell that that's already starting to get thick. And one reason it thickens so quick, well, maybe you can't, I've got the thing, is because I had the boiler hot and it started cooking real quick. That's one thing that I do when I don't think about it. But if you'll heat your pot, it will start cooking a whole lot quicker. So that's 1.5 cup of water plus about a tablespoon, 3 tablespoons full of cornstarch, and 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar. And you cook it until it's nice and smooth and thick. So I'm going to turn the burner off, and then I'm going to stir in 1 package of strawberry jello. And if you want to use sugar-free, you can use sugar-free. I'm going to take this off the burner here. And you just want to stir this till it's nice and combined. You know, I've got all kinds of jello in my cabinet, but for some reason, I run out of strawberries more than I run out of anything. You just want to stir that up, make sure it all gets dissolved real good. Kind of quiet in here. Now this is going to look, it's going to look thinner now since I stirred in the jello, but don't worry, that's going to set once we put this in the refrigerator. I have to add the strawberries to it, but I'm not going to add the strawberries to it right this minute. It's going to be okay sitting here until I get that pie crust made, and then I'll come back over here and we'll add the strawberries to it. So let's go back over to the counter here, and I'm going to mix up this crust. And this crust is different than any pie crust that I've ever made, and I really wasn't sure about it, and I'm still not completely sold on it, but I wanted to make it because I told y'all I was, and I want y'all to see a little different version. I wish I remembered the lady's name that I saw make this. She was not from the United States. She was from Europe somewhere. But I'm using this, I don't know how you pronounce it. It's French butter, Plugra, European style. I don't know if it's French, but it's 82% butter fat. It's about like Kerry. I don't think there's a whole lot of difference in it. And I just bought this because I just wanted to see what it would be like, because I'd never bought it before. If I splurge on butter, it's going to be, oop, these are the wrong beaters. That's totally not going to work. Let me get some more beaters. Got the wrong beaters out. These are for my other mixer. I have 2 sets of these, and I thought I got the right ones out, but I didn't. This is not a, I'm just going to make a single batch of the pie crust, so it's not going to be anything that this small mixer can't handle. So first of all, we're going to just beat this butter. You want to whip some air in it, and then we're going to add some sugar. I have to get the sugar back over here. Let's see. So this is 1 stick, and you want your butter to be salted. Beat it about 2 or 3 minutes. Then I'm going to add the sugar to it. Now, I did this with my KitchenAid yesterday, but I did a double batch, and it was so little in that big mixer, I just decided I would just use this one today. That should be good. Now, I'm going to get my sugar over here. Okay, so I'm gonna, whoops, I forgot my measuring spoon. Okay, so that's 1 stick butter, and I'm gonna do 2 tablespoons full of sugar, and we're gonna beat this, or whip it, whatever, however you wanna say it, together, till it's nice and creamy. Now, like I said, this is a total different pie crust recipe than I've ever used. It does not call for cold water. Every pie crust I've ever made has cold water in it, but this one doesn't. It has an egg in it. You want your egg at room temperature. Used to making real small batches and stuff, and it just literally looks like there's nothing in this bowl. So now this is gonna be different. And when I first did this yesterday, I'm like, I sound like I'm hollered. I'm trying to talk louder because I don't have a mic on. But I said this is together a hot soupy mess when you start beating this egg in with this butter. And one reason they want the egg at room temperature is because when you mix it with this butter, it's going to be real soupy. It's not going to look like it's going to work at all. This is not quite as soupy as it was yesterday, and I know why, because I left my egg setting out a little longer today. Yesterday, I didn't leave it set out, so it was really, really soupy. And we're going to do 1 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. And I was texting my friend yesterday, Kathy, in California, and I told her, I said, I'm not sure about this. I don't know if this is going to work, and I don't know if it's going to even be enough for 2 pie crusts or not, because it didn't look like it was that much dough to me, but it actually was, and it was a thick pie crust. I don't think you would even need to use quite all of it, but I made it in a big pie, so I did use the whole thing. But it's plenty in case you're thinking it's not going to be enough. It is. I'm going to mix this 1/4 cup up, and then I'm going to add a little bit more, and also 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now the idea of this is to whip air in the butter instead of cutting it in and it being crumbly like a pea consistency. And this is a soft dough. So it does have to be chilled. I'm just mixing this flour up a little bit at a time. Turn that mixer down. You can tell the dough's getting thicker, coming together. I'm letting the mixer do the work, so I'm probably mixing it a little more than I normally would. Well, actually, I've never mixed pie crust with a mixer, so. All right, let me get this out of the way here. My hands are quick wash, and I need to put these in here because I'm going to need these in a minute to beat the whipped cream since I didn't get my other set out. And I'm not going to roll this out. The recipe suggests that you go ahead and roll it into a disc before putting it in the refrigerator or freezer. Because it's harder to roll, and if you don't have a lot of strength in your shoulders or your hands or arms, like I don't, it's hard to roll it's hard for me to roll something after it's been in the refrigerator. So I put my pastry mat down and I rolled it into an 8-inch disc yesterday. So I only had to roll it out 2 more inches because I wanted a 10-inch circle. So, for those of you who have trouble with the shoulder or arms or something or hands, that's probably a good idea to do that. Or you could do like Mary does in their church, and you could go ahead and roll it out and actually put it in your pie crust or in your pie pan. But I'm not going to do that because I'm going to use this dough, and I've got another disc in the refrigerator from yesterday from the double batch I made. I'm going to use this in a cobbler that I'm making next weekend. I am going to pop it in the freezer because I want it to be fresh, but I'm going to roll it out in strips. So it comes together really good. It has a real good feel to it. Of course, you don't want to overwork your dough, so I don't want to stand here and play with it. But get this out of the way here. And I'm just going to wrap this real good, stick it in the refrigerator for now, and then I'll wrap it again and put it in the freezer. I probably won't roll it out in strips, just depending on what hits me. Sometimes you think you're going to do one thing, you wind up doing something else. But now this is a 1 pie recipe. So it's 1 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons full of granulated sugar, 1 large egg, and you want to beat and a stick of butter, salted butter. You want to beat your butter for a couple of minutes, then add your sugar and beat that, and then add your salt, add your flour a little bit at a time till it all comes together, and then if you're going to use it that day, go ahead and roll it out into a pretty good sized disc and refrigerate it for at least a couple of hours, and then you can take it out and finish rolling it in the size that you need for your pie crust. So let me get some of this stuff out of the way here. strawberries in with the filling. And I've got a good amount of strawberries that's sliced. Let me get some of this out of the way. Of course, you want to bake your pie crust ahead of time too, and you bake your pie crust 450 for about, I think I baked that one about 12 minutes. I actually might have baked it about 13 because it was thick. So depending on your oven, what size or how your oven cooks. I've got these strawberries sliced in little pieces. I've washed them and hulled them. And then I sliced them this morning. And you know, strawberries are fragile, so you kind of have to be careful with them when you're working with them. You don't want to tear them apart. All right, I saved a few to garnish with. And again, for one pie, you need the big container. I don't know how many ounces it was. It was at Kroger's. It was not the little ones. It was the big ones. So I guess maybe it was a quart, 2 pints. I believe is how much it was. So this is the pie crust, like the recipe that I just made. And I cooked it yesterday. Another thing that I was worried about was this pie crust shrinking. I wasn't sure if it would shrink because, you know, that does happen sometimes. I did put some pie weights on it, and it was fine until I took the pie weights off, and then it did fall down just a tiny bit. But this is the pie crust here, and it looks almost to me not exactly like a cookie dough, but it kind of reminds me of a cookie dough. Now, it's not, you know, it's not as sweet as a cookie dough, but it reminds me of one. So I'm just going to pour this in here. And this is a big pie pan. It's a 10-inch pie pan. And I want every bit of that in there. So make sure you scrape your boiler clean. Get all of that goodness. Now, if you make a strawberry pie with the, and you just do the shortcut and use the gel that you buy in the grocery store, and you've done that in the past, and you've had trouble with it set with your pie setting. This, you're not going to have trouble with this recipe because this has got gel in it, and it's going to set up real nicely, and you'll be able to cut a slice just like you would a regular piece of pie. It's really good. It's not overly sweet, and I'm going to get the one that I've already got made and put it out here. Well, I gotta get some Cool Whip bag. I mean some whipping cream made first, but I'm going to go ahead and set this in the refrigerator. Get the whipping cream made, and then we'll top the other pie. I try to keep things in a certain refrigerator, and it seems like you think you've got it in the one you need it in, and it's in the other one. So here is my my whipped cream. You can use any brand you want. We're not sponsored, but I prefer Kroger's, and I prefer Kroger's for more than one reason. First of all, it's a good price. It always has a good sell-by date to it, and That's the reason that I use it, because it does have a good sell-by date to it, and normally it's cheaper than another name brand. Whoops. And you want to get your best results, you want to have your beaters and your bowl cold before you beat your whipped cream. And whipped cream is not sweet, so you need to sweeten it. I have to sit down, y'all. I can feel my back already. I don't usually measure this, but since I'm doing 2 pies, I'm going to probably do over half of this bottle. I've used just a tiny bit out of it, but I'm probably going to use a little over 2 cups. My bowl is cold and my beaters are cold. I don't want to have a whole lot left over. Don't want to waste it. I'll try this, and if it's not enough, I can always make more. It doesn't take but a jiffy. So this morning I have got stuff ready for a salad for later today, and I guess I need to get started whipping this. Washing, cleaning lettuce, cutting tomatoes, carrots, and I haven't grated my cheese yet, but I'll do that as well. I'm having chicken in my salad, and he's going to have steak. I'm going to put probably about 2 tablespoons full of, this is powdered sugar, or some of you call it icing sugar. You don't want it super sweet, but you want it sweet. So it has some flavor. Longer, and if you do whip it by hand with just a hand whisk, make sure your bowl and your whisk is really cold. Beat it and let it stick. And once it starts sticking, it's going to thicken really quick, so you don't want to beat it to the point that it's dry. So watch that real closely. Almost there. Okay, I think that's good enough for right now. Now, let's get a bag here and a tip. I'm just using a big pastry bag. You don't have to do this, but if you have one and you want to just fancy the top of it up a little bit, dress it up a little bit. And this is Sunnyside Bakery It's tip 336. It's kind of large. When you're cutting your tip off, make sure you don't cut it too high up. If you do, your tip will wind up and fall out. And you can always cut more if you don't get enough cut off. I learned the hard way. So be careful when you're just a little bit more cut off. And another thing too that you want to do, get rid of these little pieces. You'd be surprised how these can wind up in your whipped cream. Again, it's happened to me. So make sure that you're, just throw them in the garbage real quick to get them off the counter so that doesn't happen. Now here's the pie that I made yesterday, and you can see how nice and gelled it is. Put some of this in here. I know they put these in a glass and put that in there, but I just, for some reason, I just spoon it in. For our Ohio watchers, if you've ever been to Sydney, Ohio, there's a place there that's, I should know the name of it, but I don't. It just slipped my mind, but it's downtown. And they make all their hamburgers fresh every day, and they serve strawberry pies. And their pies are so good. It's right downtown Sydney. And if you get one to go, whoops, if you get one to go, they give you a whole bag of whipped cream for it. And it's really good, and the whipped cream is stabilized. Not to worry about it melting. Now, I'm going to just do little dollars. You can do this any way you want to. Doesn't have to have any rhyme or reason. You just want to dress it up a little bit. Okay, so now let's see. I saved our strawberries to decorate with. And I'm going to put this in a pie box. And I think I'm just going to put one on top of it. So of course this has to be refrigerated, but I'm going to put this in a pie box and text my neighbor and ask her if she'll meet me at the fence. I don't know, it's raining. She may want to drive over here, but to get the pie for him. And then when the other one gets set, then I will put some whipped cream on it, and that will be dessert today. I'm not a huge strawberry pie fan, but he is, so I hadn't cooked one or hadn't made one this year, so I thought I'd make one today, and also, you know, give one to Cal and Jan. So I hope y'all enjoyed this. The whipped cream is, I used about 2 cups, about 2.5, 3 tablespoons full of powdered sugar or icing sugar, and make sure your bowl and your beaters are cold, and just whip it until it's kind of not dry but stiff. And then you can dollop it on there. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Garnish it with the strawberry or not, and then put it back in the refrigerator and serve it, you know, take it out and cut it as you want to have a slice. I hope y'all enjoyed this, and I will get pictures and get the recipes for the pie crust and for the pie on here as soon as I can. So hope everyone has a great day. I think Mary posted some pictures on here earlier this morning, so if y'all hadn't looked at those, be sure to go take a look at those and like her reel on that. We appreciate it very much. So not sure what the schedule is this week, but hopefully one of the other of us will be on before too long. So if you're in the path of the bad weather, stay safe, Stay cool, stay hydrated, always be kind. And always count your blessings. And I didn't forget what I was going to say. I just chose not to say what I was going to say. I was going to say something else. Anyway, hope y'all like this. You could probably do the same recipe with blueberries or peaches, just using a blueberry gelatin or a peach, jello or a peach jello. I think you could do the same if you wanted a peach pie. So yeah, y'all enjoy. We'll see y'all later.